Hello everybody and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering Arena video. Today we are here to prove the haters wrong and we are playing Naya Legends. The reason for the existence of this deck is the existence of this card, Hajar, the Loyal Bodyguard. This is a red and a green 3/3 legendary creature, human soldier at rare. It has Sacrifice Hajar, Loyal Bodyguard. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until end of turn. So starting with a 3/3 for 2 that has upside is very nice. It's not a massive upside, but you know, if we can give some board wipe protection to a creature deck, that sounds like a good thing to me, given that the meta at the moment tends to be soldiers or board wipes. Those are the two sort of things in the meta. And note they are obviously non-meat hook related board wipes, so they are things that Indestructible will help with, aside from Farewell. Our goal to deal with Farewell is to kill the opponent before they get to 6 mana, basically. If that doesn't work, you know, if we think they're playing Farewell, the idea really is to hold back some stuff so that we can rebuild after Farewell. But Farewell is pretty game over for most heavy creature-based decks, which this is. The downside of this card is obviously that it encourages us to run legends. Legends have the legend rule of the fact you can only have one in play at a time, which is obviously a bit of a negative, because if you draw multiple copies of the same legend, that's bad. However, there are so many different legends in the Naya colours that I don't think that is going to cause us a huge problem. And the ones that I have chosen to sort of focus this deck around are the humans. So just going to run through the legendary humans in the deck. So we are running Feldon, the Ronom Excavator. This is 1 and a red for a 2/2 legendary human artist filled with haste. He can't block, so he's got quite a big downside there. But whenever he is dealt damage, exile that many cards from the top of your library. Choose one of them. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. This is a very nice effect. If it was this turn, this wouldn't be very good. But because we've got a whole turn to untap and then choose whether we want to play that card or not, that's very nice. That is some extra board wipe protection for us. It's for like the burn one that's a 3 costing red one. It's End of Brotherhood or something like that. No, Brotherhood ends, Brotherhood something anyway. Anyway, any damage based removal, we draw cards for this, which is great. If they are forced to block this with something big, great, especially if it's like a shakedown heavy, that would be wonderful, because we get to look at 6 cards and play one of them. But obviously it's a legend, we're only running 2. 2 Baird, the Argivian Recruiter. This is a red and a white 2/2 legendary human soldier. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power greater than its base power, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. We are very commonly going to have a creature with power greater than its base power, as we are running King Darien, which buffs all other creatures. We're running Sigarda, which buffs all of our other humans. We're running Halana and Alena to put counters on things. Wandering Emperor to put counters on things. We're running Ajani to put counts on things. This can put counter on things. And this can give all of our other legendary creatures +1/+0. So pretty much everything in the deck, even Katilda could put counters on things, will buff our creatures in some way. So we're going to get these extra soldiers very, very commonly. 2 Katilda Dawnhart Prime is a green and a white for a 1/1 legendary human warlock. It has protection from werewolves. That isn't that relevant these days. It's very rare that you run into a werewolves deck. Human creatures have tap, add 1 mana of any of this creature's colours, and it has 6 tap at a 1/1 on each creature you control. So that is a mana sink for us later in the game. When we've managed to vomit our hand down, if we need that extra damage to sort of grind out a mid-rangey board state, this is very helpful. 3 Brutal Cathars, obviously not a legendary creature. It's the only non-legendary creature in the deck, but having a human that we can play that removes things is very helpful. So running 3 of those. 3 Adeline Resplendent Cathar. Now note I'm running 3 Adelines. The reason being is that Adeline is particularly strong at legendary human. Whether I should be running 3 or not is up for debate. Could be a 2 of, could put 1 of more removal or something, but Adeline I just love, and it is a 3 costing *4 legendary human knight with vigilance. Its power is equal to the number of creatures you control. Whenever you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. So creating more tokens that are humans is very, very nice in this deck, because they will probably be coming in as either 2/2s if we have Darien down, or 3/3s if we have Sigarda as well. They will be creating us more soldiers because of Baird. and they can be tapped for mana using Katilda. So little humans that are coming in that aren't necessarily such little humans is very, very nice, and it sort of fulfills our go wide, smork them to death theme. King Darien, what is this number again? I can't remember. So it's the 48th. Is a legendary human soldier, 2/3. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. So a built-in Anthem effect. He has 5, put a 1/1 counter on him and create a 1/1 white creature soldier token. I don't think I've actually ever used that ability. To be honest, I completely forgot that he had that. I guess it's another mana sink for late game if we happen to have loads of mana. Sacrifice King Darien. Creature tokens you control gain hexproof and indestructible. So we have tokens coming out of Baird and we have tokens coming out of Adeline. So we do have some creature tokens and out of the Wandering Emperor actually. So there is some synergy with that effect. But often our creatures are obviously going to be non-token looking at this deck. But the main reason to have Darien in the deck is he's a legend that buffs all our other legends. We are running Halana and Alena, 3 of. Again, this is a 3 of because it is very integral to the deck. It is the thing that lets us grind out the other creature decks, more specifically soldiers. Soldiers are still largely played in this meta, and having something that lets our creatures grow quicker than their creatures can throw out blockers is very, very important. So this is a 2/3 human ranger for 4 with first strike and reach, which is very nice to have some reach in a human deck. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X/1/1 counters on another type creature you control, but X is Halana and Alena's power. That creature gains haste until end of turn, so it can also be a surprising bit of quick damage for us, especially when paired with a flying trampler like Sigarda. The nice thing about Halana and Alena specifically in this deck as well is that we have lots of ways of buffing our creatures, as I've previously spoken about, and being able to buff Halana and Alena's power is nice, especially if you buff it with a creature. So for example, when paired with King Darien or with Sigarda, if I already have Halana and Alena in play, and I play King Darien, Darien's going to buff Halana and Alena to a 3/4, she can then put 3 counters on Darien instead of 2, which actually makes quite a big difference, especially when that extra creature is Sigarda, because she'll become a 7/7 flying trample for 4, which can be particularly evasive and hard to remove creature, especially if they're not expecting it. So, now we're moved on to Sigarda. This is a 4 costing legendary creature angel, 4/4, flying and trample. Humans you control get +1/+1. All of our creatures in this deck are humans, apart from the tokens that come out of Baird, the Argivian recruiter. That can be something easy to forget. Quite why this doesn't create humans, I don't know. But it just creates white soldiers, apart from AO. So we've got loads of humans, which is nice, and she gives us a way of drawing more humans. Because we have quite a high density, how many have we got in this deck? There are 21 humans, so if we look at the top 5 cards of our library, we are very likely to find a human, as 1/3 of our cards are humans. So this can kind of give us that bit of card advantage and keep the game going in grindy matchups. And then we're running 3 AO the Dawn Sky. AO is particularly nice because it has Vigilance, and I'm seeing a resurgence of the Wandering Emperor in this day and age, and Vigilance is very nice against that. It has Flying, which, when coupled with the ability to give it haste with Halana and Alena, can make a 7/6 flying Vigilance with haste, which can be a nice finisher, but also it gives us some board wipe protection, being able to search up for something when it dies, but B, be able to put counters on all of our stuff. It can be a really, really valuable win con in this deck, as we are often playing a semi-go-wide strategy, so being able to put counters on all of our stuff is very nice. On top of all those creatures, we have quite a good a package of removal in this deck, actually, because I just opted not to run Thalia, which is quite a commonly chosen card in Naya Legends, especially if you're running humans. I can afford to run all of these removal spells. So we've got 8 spells, and they all sort of are targeting slightly different things. 2 Flame Blessed Bolts. This is largely for tenacious underdogs, but also for soldiers. There's loads of soldiers out there, particularly the Lord, that's a 2 costing, 2 with 2 toughness. Being able to just pick that off for 1 mana is delicious. But then we've got our Obliterating Bolt for when the creatures are a bit larger. Obviously, if something like a Sky Strike General or whatever it's called is around, we need to be able to remove that, and this is our option there. Wandering Emperor is really nice removal, but also it can go wide for us by creating more tokens and buff our other creatures. Note this has particularly nice synergy with Halana and Alena. If we put this in and put our counter on Halana and Alena will then put an additional counter on something else. So we're basically doubling the counters we get out of Wandering Emperor. And exile tapped creature. Obviously it's a bit of a signposted thing if you hold open 4 mana including 2 white, but people still don't often believe and they attack you anyway, or they don't care if you exile their creature. So Wandering Emperor is nice removal. And then we've got 2 March of Otherworldly Light. The reason for running these is that it is nice to have some non-creature removal in the deck. These things all are creatures and planeswalkers. Being able to remove artifacts and enchantments is actually quite valuable in the current standard meta. There are quite a few enchantments decks around still. Being able to remove bank busters with this is nice. But also it gives us the option to be able to ditch some cards from our hand and remove something bigger, like a Shell Drill or something that could be causing us some problems. The only other non-creature we are running is 1 copy of Ajani, Sleeper Agent. That is because this is actually a very creature heavy deck. There are 26 creatures in the deck, so pretty much half the deck, not quite. And its +1 is very nice for farming us some more cards. Having some card draw in creature decks is always nice and quite hard to achieve. Being able to distribute counters has a lot of synergy in this deck. With Baird, it has a very good synergy with Halana and Alena. It's got a good synergy with Sigarda. So yeah, that's a nice ability, and then it gives us the -6 that if we're against a particularly controlling deck, if we manage to get Ajani down, if we get the -6 off, it gives us an out, because all you have to do is cast the creatures, they don't have to resolve. So if we're finding ourselves against something that's countering us all the time, the target will be to find Ajani, get it down and get it to -6. You never know. Anyway, that is the deck. We are running 25 lands, of which there are lots of different dual lands, 4 Jetmir's Gardens, 1 of each of our legendary special lands. The only reason that I'm not running 4 of these and 4 of these is that I don't have them still. For some reason I'm just never opening the dual lands, and I'm not willing to go and spend money to craft them, so we just play with what we've got. Let's have some legendary games and hopefully win some. Next game. And looks a bit expensive, but at least we can play this for 3 if we need, which gives us some form of curve, so I think we keep. And we could have a little 3/3 dude to start bashing them, which I'm not a hater on. This guy, he seems pretty good at the moment. I mean, the board wipe protection that this provides in this deck is so valuable when there's lots of depopulates around at the moment thanks to soldiers. The frontliner. Speaking of soldiers, I guess we're playing mono white soldiers. They're reading it. They're like, is that a 3/3 for 2 with upside? Yes, yes it is. But it is legendary. I'm pretty much the worst Englishman ever in that I just sit here drinking coffee all day rather than tea, but you know, got to keep going somehow. Tea just doesn't quite have the same kick, does it? And also, bitter tastes are the best. That's why I like Magic so much. It's always get a bitter aftertaste of playing Magic. Come on. I would try to pronounce your name, but we won't go there. I'm going to call you Ash, as that's what it looks like quickly to me. Or Ash, maybe. Okay. Both very good March or Otherworldly Light targets so far, in Indestructible Creature and one with Unearth. For different reasons, of course. I think we will jam this and pay 2 life. And just start plussing it. It gives them something else to deal with, to be honest. It was that or March, but Phyrexia surrounds you, don't resist, and we got a creature off of it, which is nice. I won't attack because they could double block, and then it's just a trade for the frontliner plus a card in their hand, which isn't great. Whereas this way, I mean, they could attack with both and kill this, or they could just enlist the Guardian, and I probably wouldn't block, but at least it gives them some decisions, and yeah. I can always swing back if they do that, which they probably will next turn safely. With our Halana and Alena buff. They might not even try and kill Ajani, but this is an underrated card, I would say. in this type of creature deck, in like a, I don't know, I think it's just like, it's like a cusp of whether this is aggro or mid-range, because most of our creatures are 3 or 4 cost, right? So our average cost is like 3, which isn't aggro. It's like a mid-range but still creature-focused deck. It's kind of my speciality, if anything. Like, I don't like pure aggro, I like 1 and 2 drops only, because I like to be able to play with some more impressive cards, but I also like creatures, and that's why these like creature mid-rangey decks are always the ones that I build that I find are the best. Like, my brain just seems to work out how to put these together best. And this card sort of fits that kind of deck very well. Being able to spread vigilance and counters around and just finding you more creatures is nice. Excuse me. Lay down arms. Okay, we're getting 3 life. They aren't doing so well on the aggro front at the moment. I'm assuming they'll just enlist the Guardian to attack Ajani. We might have to get rid of the Guardian. Can't really have them scrying 2 every turn. What I'll probably do is play Feldon and attack, and then hold open the rest of the mana. And we can always... we don't really want to ditch AO. I mean, it depends what we draw as well, but when people are this slow, I sit there planning like the next 3 turns ahead. Because the turn after, if we keep our Feldon, we'll play this, otherwise we'll play this. But obviously it depends what we draw. Tempting to just jam that, because so the removal that they're going to have is Lay Down Arms and maybe Brutal Cathar. If we play this, they're only going to have 3 planes next turn because they've missed a land drop, so we'll keep this. Or this we could jam, and then we'll just march the Cathar. Let's play this. Because playing this and then dropping this and giving it haste and being a 7/7 with haste is very nice, because this will go up to 3 power, put 3 counters on Sigarda, 7/7 trample flyer with haste. We can't complain about. Yeah, I think it's really strange how different people are good at building different types of decks in Magic. I think that is one of the things that I love most about it, and I think it probably is shaped partly by your personality, but partly by like how you learnt to play and who you learnt to play with. And I think, you know, some people just love controlling, or, you know, being dicks, and some people like to play positive, proactive decks like me, where you just try and create your own luck. But there's definitely a need for both. Gosh, this person is either deep in thought or high. Probably the latter. You can't be thinking that much about soldiers, can you? It's hardly the Brains of Britain deck. No. You can scry for your lands. Thalia, okay. That is not a problem. Now the game starts to get painful for you, my friend. Now it starts to get painful. 7/7 flying tramplers. That's not what you want. Who says 4/4 flyers for 4 can't be good? Well, if they're 7/7 flying trample haste for 4, they can be good. Could even attack with both, because I don't know that we want to even be defending with this. In case it's some combat trick, or even if they just Cathar it away. Let's just go with both. That's half their life gone. They're not killing us next turn. Not with 2 land. And they can only block 3 of the damage with Thalia. That would be an awful chunk, really. So we're definitely getting in for 10. And then we've got AO that we can give haste to if Halana and Alena survive next turn. Or we march a Cathar. Got loads of options. Loads of options. Yeah. That was a lot of thought about not a lot of play, to be honest, but there we go. Okay. Dolgor. This is a rather expensive hand, isn't it? How many 1 and 2 drops have we got? 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 14. So our chance of drawing one is 25% or so. Not really good enough. It's not great either, but it's better. I think we'll put this away. All tap lands as well. Start with a white one in case we draw Adeline. Sadly, I can't actually play the Hajar. We have got loads of the untapped ones in here, but just not in our hand. I think we'll play this in case we get the mana for Halana and Alena, then it's a really nice combo. Borrowed time. At least we can remove borrowed time with March if the situation calls for it. Making this 3/3 to a 5/5 even is pretty brutal. Generous visitor. And wedding announcement. Grim. Grim, grim, grim. I think I'm just going to do this. Start thinning down their creatures and then, yeah, developing ours. I think we probably won't remove the wedding announcement. There can be more important things. This is a bit annoying. Because I wanted to get our creature back. I think we're going to use the Wandering Emperor on Katilda. They're running out of cards, so Wandering Emperor on Katilda, March on Borrowed Time seems like the best option so far, and we could bolt one of these visitors or whatever else we need to bolt. Gosh. Put your counters on Katilda. Don't want to stack up very sensibly. This feels like a Wandering Emperor from us. If they attack with 2 things, which they probably will, then they will get to draw 2, which is quite annoying. But having exiled Katilda is a big plus, and we can start putting the counters on Halana and Alena. We'll take 5 damage for that and give them 2 cards. And they don't get any more chumpies, which is nice. So, +1 like this. Let's get rid of the Borrowed Time. And that'll do it. Okay, great. Next one. Alright, next game. I missed one game out of this video, but not because of anything bad, but I was in a game against Mono Black and halfway through my phone rang and I had to answer it, so it wouldn't have made for the best YouTube video inclusion ever. So we have one more win than has been seen. This is an annoying one because we've got our 2-drop, but we've only got a white untapped land which we can't use for Hajar. I think we're going to keep it anyway. Because there's a chance we draw another land, there's a chance we'll draw another 2-drop. And we've got quite a nice... there we go. We've got quite a nice hand of hate for on the draw. Because on the draw, typically you want more removal than you would want on the play. On the play, you're setting the tempo. On the draw, you're reacting. So, okay. We've got some kind of go for the throat or grasp, yeah. Let's play the Cathar. Taking out a token isn't the best, but at least you know, Cathar's not a target now. Is that a Wandering Emperor? Possibly. Possibly. I mean, it would cost them 1 life to remove this rather than them gaining 2. Quite annoying, isn't it? Do we attack? Probably not. I think we'll just pass. Good decision. So they want lots of creatures. Wedding Announcement plus double token plus Shieldred. We can get this big enough that we can attack, and yeah. Okay. I was thinking they wouldn't block, to be honest, but curious. That's an interesting block. I mean, it's quite an obvious that something's happening there, or they thought I just couldn't count. Don't know, but nice to get rid of Sheldred on the cheap. Gonna pay 5 life to remove that Cathar. And then hopefully they don't send enough things at the Wandering Emperor to kill it, with the fact that we can march one of these tokens. Yeah, they're going to be greedy. That's nice. So we can get rid of that. Could counter, I suppose, but that would be their last card out of their hand. Leaves us in a relatively nice place. If we draw a land, we can Cathar their 4/4 and attack the Wandering Emperor. Okay, that's slightly trickier. So if we play this, we're going to take 9 damage, because 8 plus 1 Wandering Emperor. It's a bit tricky. But then this, we take even more. This is the best option. 10 damage, because we have to pay 1 to cast it. To be fair, if they just attack with everything, we die. GG. Couldn't quite keep up with the count the tokens there, but it was a close one. It's just that we missed a land drop or 2. Alright. Alskiru. We seem to be lacking 2 drops a little bit, don't we? We don't ever seem to find any. Not in our opening hands, but we will persist. Okay. Another Esper deck, great. Go with this, probably counter or kill, but no, neither counter nor kill. Not deploying anything themselves. Let's just go with Feldon then. That takes Adeline out of cut down. Could have another one. Back out of cut down range. Why not just kill Adeline with it? I don't get it. It's so much more of a threat than Feldon. Glad we didn't play Halana and Alena though. How nice this is against these Wandering Emperor decks. Wandering Emperor's making a resurgence at the moment. And having all of this vigilance is nice. Not a counter, surely. Not after all these things are resolved. No. Deluge. Guess a board wipe is pretty good for them, but at least AO gives us some stickiness on the board, and they are down to 10. So they could depopulate. Can't fare well, at least. Okay, they're not depopulating, so I think we go all in now. We go all in with this. So we'll stick these on one of these, which are less likely to be targeted by any removal. And if they kill AO now, we'll put counters on everything. Okay, interesting. Wasted the counters, but... So if AO dies now, we can still distribute counters and win as well. So they can go to 1 by exiling one of those 1/1s. Well now, oh I see, they just block, yeah. Go to 2. Farewell would be quite nasty now, which they may well have. Brutal. Cut down and Wandering Emperor, and now we're flooding a bit. 8 lands and 13 cards. Ugh. See if they also have that many lands, or that ratio of lands. They've got 3 in their hand. Yikes. Are we going to be able to do this 1 damage? I mean, we could be flipping our Cathar. Yeah, not by choice here, so. Take the card this turn just in case it was something that was going to help. Like another Cathar to exile this. Sadly not. Hopefully they double spell without removing the Brute now. One. Just shows how finely tuned this meta is, eh? No. They gain just the life, but that is enough out of that card for them. Is that 1 spell? So if they cast anything else, our Brute flips back and removes their token at least. Can't block. God, we really have had a lot of land. Look at it all. There's only 15 cards gone. Could have saved the AO in case they, so I could double spell next turn, but we've got to play it in case they don't have any more way of gaining life, because they've only got 5 life, and we've got a 5/4 flyer. But they do have a lot of cards, so there could be a way of gaining life and all that. No. Ooh, that must have been a close one. Alright. Yeah. Okay. That's what we needed. That is what we needed. Cheeky Hajar. He is very loyal and always turns up on time for work. Good boy. Got his swords. It's the king. And we've got another one. Okay. Missed your land drop. Very nice. I think we're gonna let's get rid of the Bankbuster. Help them miss their next land drop. This game could already be in the bag. Ah, they found a Gala Greeters. Yeah. GG. Good one, March of the Otherworldly Light. Alright, next one. Jens Alga. We've got Hajar and Halana and Alena. 2 bolts. We've only got 2 bolts in the deck. Yeah, both bolts. Let's see if we need a bolt or a Hajar first. Bolt is the perfect target for bolt, so there's another very good target for a bolt. Gixian Puppeteer. Good job we're exiling all their graveyard, eh? Playing the spider with nothing to kill. Worries me that they've got tons of removal in their hand. Let's just play this for now. See if they fancy trying to remove that. Yeah. Let's not get it exiled just in case we have a reason to need it. They're down to 2 cards, so we're getting through it. Should we play this? It doesn't really do a lot for us right now. Let's just pass. We can always exile the spider with this. Or we can exile the underdog. That is a much better target. No more cards from that. Aha. So we can play this and this. In for 5, and we can cycle this. Still 7 lands in 13. We're getting a lot of lands in these games. I think we're already running, yeah, 25. Got any removal? Destroy all creatures with mana value 2 or less. Why would you play your Liberator first? I must be missing something. Why? Why play your Liberator and then just put it straight in the bin? Something strange going on here. Something very strange. But that one we actually just won through removal pretty much. So I controlled it. Next game. Missed the start of it, but this looks pretty good though. Got Hajar and 2 bolts on the draw. And we got the mana to play them. White. This is where having our 25 lands could come into its own and we could actually draw them. You never know. Hajar first. Nice 3/3. Don't be fingering my Hajar, Kethel. He's mine. I won't have him fingered by anyone else. Okay, at least we did get another land. Not the exact one that we need, but beggars can't be choosers. The Argivian recruiter sadly is not going to start creating us tokens until we can get this or this. This specifically. This doesn't actually work because this power. This is still just its power. Unless we obviously sack Hajar, but that just gives it indestructible, so we can't keep the Baird alive with the Hajar, sadly. Revelry. At least they don't get a card. Oh, they do get a card, yeah, they got the whole shebang for it. And now our fun and games begins. What do you got? Like another March or Fateful Absence, maybe? Mono white control. Allowing the tokens is counters, sorry, would be unusual if you have removal, but they are holding priority for something. Wandering Emperor? No, not sure. There's a second white source that lets us use the Adeline. And I think I will bolt this one, but it feels like a waste. We're going to hit in for a ton of damage if that's out of the way. I don't think I'm going to attack with Halana and Alena, because it's 10, 11, yeah. We're not finishing them. We're doing half their health, and I don't want to getting exiled by Wandering Emperor if that is what it is. Yeah, they can exile Hajar, but then we're just going to get a couple of extra damage. Well, 1 extra damage, and they're not getting the 2 life. Whereas there's no way we could have saved Halana and Alena, so that was probably the right play. Ayo. Oh, hello, Obliterating Bolt. Oh, bye-bye, Obliterating Bolt. Oh well. We still have other ways of exiling your AO. They must be running lay to rest or whatever it's called. So what do we got here? We might even be winning. Yeah, GG. I'm about to start counting up the damage, but never got there. I'm not convinced by mono white control though, in fairness. Alright, next one. Naya. Oh, this looks spicy. We haven't got any removal on the draw though, which is slightly concerning. We'll go with that first. Red-white. Double Feldon as well for us, which is all of the Feldons in this deck. See, this would be the best play into this, but since we've got double Feldon and we're playing into open Jeskai, Feldon it is. Wonder what Jeskai we're going against here. Fable. Would like a Cathar, but we have not got one. Darien it is, so that we can carry on attacking, and we've got a good blocker for the 2/2. Is this a reanimation deck? Yeah. Which means they can afford it this turn, because they'll attack, get a treasure, and then bring back the portal to Phyrexia, if they've got the perfect starting hand, which it looks like they've got. If you've got Fable, Portal, and Invoke Despair, they haven't got that. Not Invoke Justice, I mean, not Invoke Despair. Okay, so we've got a turn maybe. So we can kill off the Emperor, but then we're sacrificing the Ajani to do so, because we can put this in and put 3 counters on him. I think we have to kill off the Emperor though, because otherwise they could gain life and exile our creature anyway. I mean, obviously it normally would give vigilance, but this card does give vigilance, but this card blocks, so vigilance is useless. There's a minor nombo between these two cards that I hadn't really thought about. Come on, what are we doing? As soon as they get that portal to Phyrexia back, we're in significantly more trouble. Maybe they don't have the Invoke or the Repair and Recharge or whatever it's called. Yep, can't do a lot about that. Did see that bit coming, but that wasn't what you were thinking about, because that's pretty much the most obvious play known to man. Got 7 mana. So it could be something quite dangerous coming. Could be nothing. Transformation. Titan of Industry. And Portal to Phyrexia. How did they hit a Titan? With that? Oh, because they got no creatures, of course. That's quite cool. Because they're only creating creatures with things. And yeah. Don't think we're winning that one. Nice deck. Have to give that one a go. Alright. There's life. Oh, we're actually seeing some Katilda action. Might put one more Katilda in for a Feldon. The Feldons are good, but when you get 2 and you need a blocker, it is a real feels bad. I should have put this. Oh no, there's no way of playing this on turn 2, is there? Hajar. Because all of our red and green sources are tapped. It's only white we've got untapped. Bitter Reunion. We discard a card if you do draw 2 cards. Discard the Repair and Recharge. This is another take on Reanimate. We don't really have any graveyard interaction, which is slightly annoying. We'll get rid of that, I suppose. Let's see what we're getting slapped with now then. Flesh Gorger, that's fine. I mean, not fine. It's a 7 costing 7/5 rewards 7 life, but you know, better than Portal to Phyrexia. More Flesh Gorger. Interesting they're using these. I haven't seen them used in a constructed deck. Okay. So, do we just march to get rid of this? Probably. And then we'll play this and hit for 2. Yeah. Yep. So they could be getting a Flesh Gorger this turn. Yep. I mean, the thing is with that is it only does have 5 toughness, so it is blockable. In fact, let's just get rid of this. Flesh Gorger is annoying, but it's not game ending. Not yet, anyway. Don't know if they've got a more plan what to do with it, but I guess this actually works very nicely with Repair and Recharge, because you get tapped Power Stone. I was going to say, if you just get a Power Stone. Yeah, can't really save that, even if I wanted to with Hajar. So if we sack Hajar now, we don't have enough to block the Flesh Gorger. Okay, I have to let that go. Oh, I guess what are we supposed to do here? They could blow us up so badly, but they have only got red-white left. There's no black mana left. Ay. I guess they don't blow us up too badly. We can always sack Hajar. Keep the Darien. Surprised they're throwing that away, but we are out of cards. Well, we've got a board present. A lot of it can't block. Must have some pretty good cards in their hand. Maybe some Go for the Throats or something. Yeah, or equivalent. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I think we're going to have to save this. Just can't let them be copying stuff. What have you got to discard? Is it something very powerful? No, a land. Yeah. Even more reason for this to just get rid of the Fable, isn't it? This bit rather than this bit. Because copying Harvester is just too deadly of a combo for us to leave around. Which means we should have got rid of it at the start of the turn, but we didn't know it would be the optimum play at that time. It's not that helpful, but it is overdue. The nice thing is they really don't want to block Feldon, do they? Because they're going to give us card. They just want to do that. So I hope they haven't got a reanimation spell. Oh, that's pretty bad as well. Why are you running that? Just because you're Marju, I suppose, but can't even use the kicking bit on the reanimate. You can't get that back with repair and recharge. That does feel like an interesting inclusion. Lots of artifacts around. They're not using their. Oh, they couldn't use their blood. They had no cards in hand. Oh, come on. That's bullshit. I suppose that is pretty helpful. Do we be greedy and try and get rid of both creatures with this? I think so. They've only got one card. Come on. Come on! How have you always got it? It doesn't make any sense.
My judgment is fine.
Always got it. Oh, don't, no. Ay, we're in trouble. These reanimation decks are the ones that are going to get us. Definitely the ones that are going to get us. We can't handle really big things. Not unless we get a flying start. And if we're on the draw like this game, we just crumble. Trade for that, but this isn't going to be that helpful. This really is a skin of the teeth moment. Chance of us turning this around and doing 17 damage, I would say, is virtually zero. I was expecting a removal spell then, and I can cycle 2 of these off. GG. If they haven't got a removal spell by now, they're never getting one. Oh my god. Look how many cards they've gone through. They've got 22 left in their deck. What? You could have just used this mana. Oh, you've got mana still to give them all haste, yeah. Just give them all haste. There we go. GG. Yeah, those reanimation ones. Maybe we need to stick a Sun Gold Sentinel or 2 in there. Alright. Possibly the last game, as long as I get a win. Predator Serb. This looks alright. These planes are costing me. I'm going to get rid of them. I just haven't quite got the full set of dual lands, is the annoying thing. Because I won't be able to play this on 2 again. But now that we've got the bolt, less urgent. I could use the other bolt, but yeah, that takes 2 mana to do, so even if they've got another land and they try and do that, we'll just bolt the sleeper. so. That's got to hurt. What a waste of turn. Don't suspect that Adeline's going to live, but I'd rather have the King Darien. It's got to be 3,000 ways the opponent's got as a choice to remove this Adeline, and they've chosen none of them. We'll just attack. Get rid of that. Not very well equipped to deal with Sheoldred, so unfortunately that had to be a trade. And more of them, yeah. Where are my fucking cards? Lands, you all wanted to come out before. Now all the Halanas want to come out. This is our full set of Halana and Alena's in hand from turn 1 pretty much. Do we have to chump? Probably force them to upgrade this. At least they don't use mana doing anything else then. Yeah, cool. I don't know. Without having any land, it is very difficult to win. Could have so easily been a win as well, that one. But there we go. Alright. Next one. Let's see if we can get a win before we finish this video. I feel like I was getting so many wins and now I can't win one. Can't even scrabble for a win. At least run the play. That will help a lot in this type of deck. White. Crack down Baird with King Darien into Sigarda with removal if we need it. Be soldiers. Be soldiers. That's what we want to face. We want to face creatures that are just smaller and weaker than ours. Probably going to get countered, but or removed in some way. Let us see. Deadly Riposte, maybe. No, Faithful Mending. More graveyard decks. It's the third one in 4 games. And the other game we got land screwed. It really is more graveyard decks. At least we are coming out swinging this game. It's a shame. It's a shame that we didn't get an untapped land. Just pass. Sunset Revelry. The ultimate time buyer. Okay, I'm going all in. All in. Really? Getting rid of Baird? Not Darien. Don't really care if they get a one with the multiverse back. And with Darien we can keep 3 tokens alive, so yeah. That was a good one. Got there. Got there. Okay, a quick roundup. We'll have a look at the statistics of the deck and how we have been faring. I would say, so 71% win rate over 17 matches is obviously a pretty decent sample size. There was a lot of those games included in this video. 71 is pretty nice. I would say it's not, I mean, as with all of decks of this kind, it isn't foolproof, and it's not going to win you every game, like, for sure. But the people who are running like 3 or 4 copies of Farewell are probably going to take you down. If they are running other board wipes or lots of removal spells, this deck can struggle. But you can see we've got a very decent win rate on the play, which is not surprising because it is really a sort of tempo-based Naya deck. If we get rolling, it's going to be hard to remove the creatures, especially if we have a Hajar down, then things like Depopulate aren't going to do the job. In fact, we're just going to get to draw cards most of the time because we've got multicolored creatures. So if you have a look at the things that we do well and things we don't do well against black, yeah, I'm not surprised that we do well against black, because although it is quite removal focused, we actually avoid a lot of the removal that they care about. Things like cut down is actually not a huge weakness to this deck. Hajar can't be cut down, and then once we get our Darien down, we can buff a lot of our other creatures. But you know, it can always be something that you fall behind against. White, yeah, we're kind of designed to beat white, to beat soldiers, which we've got one example of blue-white and one example of white. I can't remember exactly what those were, but you know, we're kind of designed to beat soldiers. We've got a very good grinding ability with Halana and Alena, so I would expect us to beat soldiers a lot. I'd expect us to beat red a lot. I would expect us to struggle against Esper because of the control. It's often a deck that plays Farewell. It's often a deck that has flyers such as Rafine, so yeah, I would expect Esper to be a bit of a struggle, although we've not got a huge sample size against it. But what you can see here really is that there is very varied meta. As I mentioned on the video, I could see this deck struggling a bit with the reanimation things, especially if they're reanimating Portal to Phyrexia, because getting us to sack 3 things is a very good board wipe against us. Obviously Hajar doesn't protect against that, so it could be that what this deck needs is to remove a couple of the powerful cards, or like, you know, a couple of copies of each of them, and just chuck in some Sungold Sentinels. If it turns out that this is where we struggle all the time, I think I need to play with it a bit more first to know if that is necessary or not, but it could be an improvement that we need to make. And as long as we've got something that we can pay 2 for that removes stuff from their graveyard, I think we would start to dominate those decks. You know, they wouldn't even have a chance. So let's see if that's a necessary change or not. It could be if we take out 1 Adeline and 1 Halana and Alena and put 2 Sungold Sentinels, that could be enough. Or maybe 1 Feldon as well and have 3. At that point I'd be pretty confident against those decks. So let's see. I'm going to sort of keep this as a work in progress and see how we get on. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll stop rambling on about the statistics now. I think what I'm going to do over the next coming couple of days is see if I can make some decks ready to play with the new alchemy cards that are coming up. I am keen to test them out, keen to have a bit of fun, and it's going to try and have a little play around with putting some shells together that those can slot into once they come out. I'm thinking of starting with knights, so let's see. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. It does mean a lot. I mean, it is a reasonable amount of effort producing these videos, and knowing that you guys, you know, are watching them and enjoying them, that makes it worth it to me. So thank you very much. I'll see you next time.